Yeah, we're alive. So, hi everyone. HR Breakfast is here. We are glad to welcome everyone to our YouTube channel today. I want to introduce our today's guest. It's Ive. Ive, hello.
Hi.
Ive works as an HR at Evolution. And today we will talk about working with distributed teams. Sorry. So right now I give the word to Ive, but I want to remind you that you can ask any questions you want in our chat. Do not be shy. So Ive, could you introduce yourself more than I did?
Yes, of course, but maybe we can start with the slides because I actually have one page there about myself as well.
Sure, I can share it in the stream. 1 second. Yeah, everything is here.
Yeah, let's go back.
The first one.
Yes. So hello once again. So thank you for inviting me here. So I'm very happy to take part of this meetup. And today I will tell you about my experience with diversity in the workplace. And a little bit about me as well then. So my name is Aive Keris, and currently I'm working in Evolution, Tallinn office as HR generalist, but I have been working in HR field more than 8 years in very different companies, which have been very different by size and by fields of activity. And they all have been very diverse, and they still are very diverse. So I'm very lucky. I have a bachelor degree in HR business administration and master's degree in HR management. And also I'm a member of Estonian HR Society. So what do you think? Let's move to the topic, or you have some more questions at the moment?
No, I think we can move further. We introduced you to our listeners, and I think we could speak about the diversity.
Yeah, very good. So let's move to the topic. So what is diversity in the workplace? So if to put very simply, diversity in the workplace means that a company hires a wide range of diverse individuals, such as gender, nationality, skills, religion, race, age, sexual orientation, education, political preferences, personal history, professional background, and etc. and etc. And of course, diverse team is a group of individuals with different background and skills who work together to achieve company goals. So there are many benefits of diversity in the workplace, but I highlighted the points that I think are the most important and that I have come across. So the first one is boosting creativity and innovation. So when people come from different backgrounds and have a variety of life experiences and see the world unique ways, multiple perspectives are brought to the table. So diverse teams naturally eliminate the standard approach to problem solving. So the second one, what I have noticed, it is that the companies have wider talent pool. So what it means, so employees are looking for a space where they can grow, feel accepted, and be challenged. So company that embraces diversity will attract a wider range of candidates who are looking for a progressive place to work. And diversity in the workplace will help to build a great reputation as well for the company, especially, it's important when you're looking to hire and retain talents. So then the next one is better employee performance. Of course, when employees recognize that differences are embraced and celebrated in organization, then they are likely to also be more confident in their own unique qualities, and encouraging diversity can help to boost confidence and performance. So when you create a work environment where employees see a representation of a variety of cultures, backgrounds, and the way of thinking, they are more likely to feel comfortable being themselves. And this leads, of course, to happier, more productive employees. And the last one in my list is increased profits. So as diverse teams simply perform better, as a result, bring more profit, of course. So employees are far more likely to perform well in environment where diversity and inclusion are top priority. So generally speaking, employees who feel included and wanted will be more engaged and motivated to do well. And in turn, a more engaged team will often yield better team performance and making it a win-win for employers. So then the next one, the challenges of diversity in the workplace and what can be solutions. So of course, there are many challenges of managing diversity in the workplace as well. So here are the most common challenges of diversity in the workplace, which I personally have faced and which are, in my opinion, important to consider. And then I share those solutions, how to deal with these challenges and what I did. So the first one is language barrier. So hiring employee from a range of cultures and backgrounds has fantastic benefits for businesses, of course, but it can occasionally result in communication or language barriers within a team. So this sometimes can lead to frustration amongst employees and productivity loss. So I've had a colleagues whose Estonian was so poor that it was very difficult to communicate. Also, I was losing a lot of my valuable time for understanding what the person wanted to say me. And the situation wasn't very comfortable for both of us. So what is the solution? First of all, check the language skill as much as possible already during the in the hiring process. I mean, especially the verbal skills. Of course, I know that the companies are different, your needs are different, but if you need some kind of the language, then please test it. Otherwise, later it will gonna be like super difficult. Or for example, if the written skill is super important, then give some home tasks and then check how the person is performing. And of course, if possible, then offer some language courses if you have the budget. But I know that many companies are actually doing that they are providing it. Then the next one is a generational issue. So in teams where there is a wider age range, especially if the company is recruiting graduates, there may be some generational differences or generation gaps. So, for example, I have seen many cases when older colleague is telling to younger one that younger one doesn't know anything because he's so young, and it means that he doesn't have any experience and he's not smart and companies shouldn't use his ideas. So what is solution? I mean, to bridge the gap between generations, promote an office culture where all views are heard and sustained, collaborative environment. As an HR, we can do a lot. We can talk with the people, we can explain them. So it's all about the culture of what you have in your company, and HR can easily change it as well. Then the next one in my list, this is employee requirements and relocation. So whether it's a visa or residence permit or culture requirements, hiring employees from different countries can be tricky, especially if you are a relatively young company and if you don't have any experiences. So what to do then? So before you start relocation, make sure that you are aware of the whole process and make the whole process very clear to yourself. So what it means that you have to know what are the steps for EU and for non-EU employees, how much something costs. What are the exact steps? Where do you have to apply for work permit? Where do you have to apply for visa or residence permit? All those small things and details are like super important to know. And of course, you have to know how much is company willing to reimburse the relocation, or they are not reimbursing anything. So this is a very important point as well. Why? Because I mean, employees will gonna ask you a lot of questions, and you should answer to them. Also, be ready that people are very, very different because. For example, once I had an employee who had to relocate to Estonia, and before relocation, I sent him a bunch of information about Estonia, for example, not just about the work, but about life in Estonia, like what schools we have, what kindergartens, what entertainment places, information about public transportation, and so on, so on. And he replied to me that, please don't spam me. I already know everything. And I was like, oh, all right, nice. But at the same time, I had a case when employee was expecting from me completely different things. So he was expecting me to reply him very fast on the weekends and on the evenings. He was thinking that that I'm always available for him. And then he thought that I'm doing and organizing everything for him. So when he arrived to Estonia, he was even expecting me to book for him a hairdresser visit, and then some other things, which was very interesting. So that's why it's very important to explain to the employee as well already in the beginning how the whole relocation process will going to look like. Where employer can help, where employee himself has to do something, and with what topics employer can cover, and as well as an HR, you have to set the boundaries that the employee will know exactly what he can request and then what not. But still, we have to understand that as person is coming from different cultural environment, it's important to support him as much as possible. So show to the person that he is welcome in your country. Get to know him. Talk with him about different topics, not only about the work. I mean, build a trust with him. So it's really important to support that employee during the relocation and after relocation as well. Why? Because most probably those people are coming here all alone. Okay, some of them are coming here with their families, but most guys are relocating alone, and they are all alone here. They don't have family, they don't have any friends. And especially if the culture is completely different as well, they might feel a little bit lost. So talk with the person, know your people. Maybe he needs some help, just like that hairdresser story. So of course I didn't book a time for him, but as a colleague, what could I do? I mean, I just said to him, okay, I will show you how to Google, I don't know, hairdressers in or barbers in Estonia or in Tallinn, and also I can recommend a couple of places because my boyfriend is visiting that place and so on. So just like so small things, but they do mean a lot for those people. And of course, ask feedback because every relocation process is different. And people are very different as well. And in the beginning, when I started with relocation, I was thinking like, oh yeah, the whole process was so nice, so easy. But you definitely have to talk with the guys because you will receive a lot of valuable information, and then where you actually can improve yourself. And the next one, there are conflicting beliefs and resistance to change. So conflicts can arise in the workplace due to the differences in religious, political, or cultural beliefs. And unfortunately, discrimination and prejudice still occurs in some corporate environments. So unfortunately, not everyone is on board with the idea of diversity in the workplace. And for example, one colleague once told me, women should remain silent and not to disturb men when they talk to each other. All right. I mean, knowing his background, I wasn't like very surprised, but still, I mean, it's totally unacceptable behavior. And I didn't feel myself very comfortable. I think none of you wouldn't feel very comfortable if somebody is telling you something like that. And so, but I mean, I explained him that this behavior is not acceptable, not in our country, not in our company, and that's it. I mean, you just have to explain and then tell them that how things are going on. And some people are just uncomfortable with the unfamiliar. So this is the way we have always done it. I mean, it doesn't mean that this is the right way to do it right now. Yeah, I guess you all have or had one of that colleague who always using that test sentence and who doesn't want to change anything because why? Because this is so comfortable. We are in our comfort zone. So, but what is the solution? Well, I have seen that if you're adding some clauses to your work rules, it actually can work. So it can be something like this, like do not use political, ideological, religious, or ethical symbols and expressions in your workplace. Why? Because no matter what, who I am, and no matter what I do on my free time, I should feel safe at work, and I should be able to do my job as good as I can at work. Also, it's a good idea to add some kind of clauses there, like be polite with your colleagues and explain that a little bit, like what it means, and create some no discrimination and no harassment policy. So then everybody will be on the same page and do understand how things are going on in your company. So, and please make an effort constantly, like educate your employees about diversity and make clear what your culture stands for. I mean, you can organize a lecture or training about these topics. I mean, whatever is suitable for your company, and it depends as well, like how big your company is. If you have only like 10 or 15 employees or 20, you just can, talk to each other and explain those things. But if you have the bigger one, then of course some training would be, or a lecture would be like a very, very good idea. So then about diverse teams and remote work. So I believe all of you have come across remote work, especially when we had COVID pandemic. So we all were working remotely, and how to embrace diversity when teams are working remotely 100%, or maybe some members are working only remotely, that you have the hybrid team. So when people are doing remote work, then the main thing is that employees have to know exactly what is expected of them at work. So build a trust in a virtual environment. I mean, I think that this is the first important thing. So show to your employees that you really do care, be sincere, open and honest. I have seen that the trust is one of the most important prerequisites for the team performance. When there is trust in a team, people do their best. I mean, team members are part of the team and are motivated to achieve results much more. So what to do if you want to create trusting virtual environment? I mean, we all know that many people doesn't like those video meetings. They don't like to use the cameras and so on. They even don't like to attend. So first of all, respect your colleagues. I mean, don't micromanage. Better encourage your colleagues, recognize them, keep your promises, admit your mistakes, ask feedback, create meetings and events, keep open and clear communication. And there should be designated communication channels, like different channels for fun, for work, etc., etc. Example, I have different channels in Slack, and purpose of those channels are very different. So I know in which channel I can share cat pictures, and where I have to stay very professional and talk only about work-related topics. And please share information with your colleagues, because if some of the people are working remotely, they have no idea what's going on in the office. Really, they just don't know. So even if you have some events or I don't know, something is happening at office, anyway, share it with those people, because maybe they would like to come to the office if it's possible, or at least they feel that they are part of the team. They are not like left alone. About the communication as well. So if you're sharing information and if there are some events or something, so do not afraid you remind yourself. So when you're sending an invitation, then you can send a reminder a little bit later as well. So don't spam them a lot, but reminder is always a very good idea. And also manager and HR should be visible and approachable. So they should be role models for that as well. So really good way to bring team back together, no matter what. Are they back in the office now after Corona, or they are working on online, is coffee breaks. Especially online coffee breaks. So Swedes have a coffee break, what they call fika. Maybe you have heard about it. So it's a 15 to 20 minute long coffee break where colleagues just having a coffee, tea, maybe some snacks if they want, and they are talking to each other, but they are talking only about, they are not talking about work. So I started to organize them already before COVID. And I'll tell you honestly, it's a brilliant way to get to know your colleagues, to have better relations and find a common part between each other. I mean, it works perfectly online as well if your team is not very big. So I remember that in the beginning when I started, it was a little bit awkward, like not many people attended because, it was less than 10. We were sitting in the kitchen and they were sitting there thinking, okay, what's going on now? So first 2 times I was just asking the questions. I brought some topics to the table. But after that, they saw that actually it's a really, really cool way to spend a little bit time with your colleagues. Then after that, they already found those topics themselves, and then they really, really, really enjoy that. And when COVID started, then we moved to the Teams, and it worked there perfectly as well. It was super cool. People were showing their pets and their family members and homes. So again, this is the thing what you usually when you're working together at office, you can't show it. So yeah. Regarding the online fika, so it works well if your team is not very big. Of course, if your team is 20 people, then it's it's not so comfortable anymore. Not everybody can speak, but still, you can try how it works. So first tip is to encourage colleagues to use your camera, but if they don't want to, do not demand it, because many people still don't like it. Or they are at home not feeling maybe very good, or they feel that I don't know, I have a bad hair day, so no point to demand it. And then if they see that you're using a camera and maybe a couple of others as well, then next time they will do it as well, because we still have to keep that that comfortable and nice zone. Because if it's not some mandatory work meeting. This is just for fun, and it has to stay fun. So and create opportunities for everyone to express their opinions, and of course ask questions, and ask about the feedback as well, like what do they think, like is it okay or not. For example, before COVID, we were celebrating birthdays, and when COVID started, then we moved online as well. But I tell you honestly, it didn't work. Everybody felt a little bit awkward because you don't have a cake, you don't have candles to blow. It was like, okay, happy birthday. It took like 2 minutes, and then that's it. So yeah, I received feedback that let's skip this birthday online meeting. We just can write to Slack or to email that happy birthday, and that's it. So yeah, always ask feedback, because we don't know what our people like. We may assume, but we don't know. So it's always a good idea to ask. So, and if team is not together in one place, or there is a COVID pandemic or whatever other reason why team can't be together, then there are so many different options to organize cool online event for the bigger group. For example, there are many companies who provide online team buildings. If you will just Google a little bit, you will gonna find a lot. There are like virtual games and that kind of things, which are actually super cool. And I have organized two big online events. One was on International Men's Day event, and the other one was Christmas event, and both were very successful. So when you're organizing event, don't forget about the budget, and of course, don't forget about the technical solution. So I will tell you about my this online event. So it was this International Men's Day event, and I think I had something around 25 participants, a little bit more. We were using Teams. I was thinking that all is cool. And we had online cooking class, which was actually very cool. All guys received the food packages, and then all together at the same time, we were cooking the food. So we were making a pasta. So, but what happened as we were using the Teams, and I had no idea back then that if you have more than 10 people in Teams, then you actually can't see everybody's camera. And the problem was that we actually didn't see each other, and sometimes we weren't able to see how to cook the food properly. Despite of that, as it was pasta and it was quite simple food, everything turned out nicely, because guys sent me the photos. But again, I mean, later they gave me the feedback that let's use some other platform next time. And yeah, but overall the event was very successful, and we were very happy that we were able actually to do something, because it was happening on the time when literally all of us were working at home. And the Christmas party, it was a cocktail masterclass, and of course there we were using Zoom already, so we were able to see each other, and that event was very, very successful. And yeah, I mean, I asked feedback after that as well. Guys really, really enjoyed it, and they are still asking me when we are going to have the next one. So, and please don't think that you have to know everything. I mean, no, we are not witches or psychics. Ask your employees what they need and what they like. I mean, after every event, ask feedback and try to improve next time, because if you are not changing things, then quite soon your people won't attend your meetings or your events anymore, because they see that it's still not very comfortable, or it doesn't work, or it's a little bit boring, and then there will be only you with your topic, and that's it. And also, it's a good idea to involve the whole team and managers as well. For example, I came up with an idea to introduce different national holidays of different countries, because our company is very diverse, and we have a lot of different people with different nationalities. So how it was? So I chose one popular Estonian national holiday, and I made a 30-minute coffee break, where then I introduced the history and traditions about that day. So that event was hybrid. Some of the people were online, some of the people were in the office. So, and then the next time I asked my colleagues who weren't from Estonia to make similar thing about their country's national holidays. And you know what? They were more than happy to do it. Plus, I mean, it meant that it was like less work for me. And you know, you have to involve your employees because actually a lot of them would like to organize something and do something. And you know, it's also a very good opportunity to introduce your culture and spend lovely time with your colleagues, and it widens your world as well, because if you were going to hear so many interesting stories about some holidays which are celebrated, I don't know, in India or in Pakistan or that kind of countries, then it's super cool. So yeah, what can I say? I mean, try to communicate as much as possible with different teams to understand how they are doing and what they need, and know your people. I mean, I know that it takes a lot of time to talk with all people, but it's super important to know who they are. And it's super important to build a trust, because later they will come to you and share with you some personal issues, and then they are not afraid to share some things with you, which is very cool. So yes, but basically that's it from my side. So maybe let's talk, and maybe you have some questions.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. So much useful information. There were a lot of cool cases. I marked them for myself. Thanks. So, Iva, we have 4 questions right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the first, what advice could you give us on involving employees in internal corporate communications? So how to get them interested in participating in internal discussions, meetups, and feel like a part of company and a part of corporate culture, but not a temporary freelancer.
All right. So how to involve them a little bit? First of all, you have to, I mean, if you're having, you mean those chats, what you have like in Slack, yeah?
Yeah, chats, discussions, meetups, everything which is going on inside your company.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to show that that this space is safe, because what I have seen previously, I mean, in different companies as well, that if you're writing something, if you're expressing your own thoughts, then somebody will gonna tell, no, this is so bad. And then they were going to tell you, no, you're not doing good, and no, we don't want to listen that, and then I mean, or you're not smart. So you have to build this nice trustful environment where people literally know that, okay, if I write something, then you know they won't gonna kill me because of that. So and I can ask, and this is like the normal, that this is the culture, like what we have. Regarding the meetups and as well, I mean, what I do, for example, when I send out the invitation and I see that I don't have many respondents, then I just go and talk with the people. I just want to know, like, why you're not. It's not like, you know, that I'm some strict teacher. It's like, why you're not here? Yeah, it's just like very personal. I'm just going there and just asking, like, how are you doing? So I saw that you're not attending. So what's going on? So quite often they are saying, oh, you know, I forgot about that, like, completely. And that's why I mentioned earlier as well that it's very good, you know, idea to send those reminders, just, you know, to ping them that, okay, do you remember we have this and that. And in the beginning, I recommend to find those employees who are super active, who really want to, you know, take part of the
we have such ones in our company.
Yeah. So because they are the role models, and you know, then the other team is seeing, like, oh, okay, you see, like, my colleague took part of it and he was doing very well, and you know, this is actually normal, this thing is not like for managers or something. And then it slowly, you know, starts to move. So this is what I can recommend.
Okay, thank you very much for answer. We have an additional question from Dmitry. Do employees feel tired from online events? Can you measure it? Do you have a practice to do 1 day a week without any calls or any online activities?
He was asking about my current company.
I think yes.
Yeah.
Maybe you have such experience in previous company. It would be nice to hear it, of course, too.
Yeah, there are actually even, I mean, I'm not working in that company, but I know that company very well because my friends are working there. There is actually one IT company in Estonia. I think even more, but I mean, they are like the role models. They have one day in week, if I remember correctly, it was Wednesday, when they have no online calls, and they call it concentration day, and they say that it works very, very well. I mean, if I'm talking personally about myself, then I can't say that I have a lot of calls every day. If I would work as, I don't know, a talent acquisition specialist, then yes, then I would have calls every day. But as an HR generalist, yeah, I have maybe like 1-2 calls per day. It's not much for me. It's fine. They are not long as well. And what else I can recommend? When you're having those calls, don't make them 1 hour. Make them, for example, 45 minutes. Because if you have one call, like one call in a row, like after another, then you even don't have a break when to eat or I don't know, go to the toilet. So then it's a good idea if it's only 45 minutes and that's it. And actually, they even say that there are like different researches and so on about those meetings and concentration. They say that actually people can concentrate approximately 30 to 45 minutes, not even 1 hour. So there's actually no point to make longer meetings than 30 minutes or 45 minutes. And actually, if you know that you have only 45 minutes, believe me, you will gonna be more productive and you will gonna do much more faster. So, I mean, of course, it's important to talk with the people as well, and chat, especially with these colleagues who are working remotely, just to ask like, oh, how are you doing? And let's make some few jokes and so on. But I mean, if your whole day is full of that kind of meetings, it can be very overwhelming. So yeah, think about yourself, make some breaks. And but this is working. If you have a lot of meetings, you can try to make one day where you don't have no online calls or no meetings at all.
Thank you very much. So we have one more question. How easy is it for non-EU people to integrate into the corporate culture of European companies? So nevertheless, there are certain differences in the mentality and in general in the corporate culture of most companies in different countries. How to make this?
Yeah. So I can talk only about Estonia, right? So
okay.
If you're talking about non-EU employees, if they are coming, I mean, we all know that Estonia is a post-Soviet country as well. So if they're coming from those post-Soviet countries, then it's a little bit easier. Because first of all, because already of the language, we still do understand Russian. We speak Russian. A lot of information is in Russian as well. So if you're visiting Estonia website, they are like in Russian, Estonian, and English. And maybe the culturally we are a little bit same as well. So it's not so. I mean, the difference is not so huge. But of course, if you're coming, example, from south of America or Africa or Asia, it's a bit different. But usually, what I have seen that those people who are relocating, they are very open-minded. And they already have read about the culture and the life in Europe, how it goes. So I have to say that it depends very much of the person, but definitely I will tell that please do not afraid to hire non-EU, or please do not afraid to relocate non-EU candidates to your country and office or company. So yeah, because they are seeing world in a so different way, and they are bringing you so much, like literally your team will gonna be much more diverse, and then they have like different perspectives, and it's super cool. So it's definitely worth to try.
Okay, they're ready for this.
Very good. Yeah, you
So,
always have to talk, because I'll be very honest. I had candidates as well with whom I was talking. I always, when I receive the job offer, I always make a call with the candidate, and I always want to know like how much he or she knows about Estonia, and because then I know as well like what kind of materials I have to provide and how much I have to like share information with that person. And yes, I have had that kind of candidates as well who said that I even don't know where Estonia is, basically. So
wow.
yeah, but let's be honest, like 95% of employees who want to relocate, they know about the country and they are quite well informed.
Okay, interesting. So the next question's a bit similar, I think, but what problems do you face most often in terms of involving employees in corporate culture? Maybe you can tell us about some fuck-ups or difficulties or unsuccessful cases when it's, I don't know, something goes wrong. And what did you do with that?
So you mean involving the guys? I have to say that so far I have been quite lucky that if we have doing something, then it's quite easy to involve my people. And let me think a little bit. Maybe what right now can be a little bit challenging is that people are used to work from home now after COVID, and it's a bit challenging to invite guys back to the office. So yeah, so you really have to think how to do it in a nice way. And yeah, so you should do some maybe more like events, and explain that it's so cool to be together in the office again. But again, it's so different. It depends on the company as well. So some companies are saying that we are absolutely fine, we even don't need an office anymore because because guys are happy to work from home. So yeah. Yeah, I haven't had that kind like big issues with involving the guys. Yeah, I think even if we had something, then maybe it was because lack of communication, or just we didn't explain much something, and that's why maybe they didn't want to attend some event or some activity. But yeah.
Okay, I understand. So you talked a bit about the office and returning to the office. Could you share, please, your company's politics on this way? So do you invite
Yes.
your
Yeah, we
employees
are
or
returning.
not?
Yes, we are. We are returning back because we really do think that it's really cool to see each other from face to face, to work together. Because during the COVID times, it still it was a bit difficult because we are not used to work remotely all the time, and people were a little bit lacking of that I don't know, playing kickers together in the office, or just having a coffee together. So, and we really see that when people are together, they are actually productive and they are happier and they are more engaged. So yes, I mean, we are calling our employees back. But I think it's really cool. A lot of guys are back in the office and the vibe is completely different and it's really, really nice.
Yeah, it was my next question. How did they perceive this announcement? Is it was okay or not for them?
No, I mean it was okay because we are having some events in the office as well, like small ones. Just like I was talking about that 30-minute coffee break where I was introducing those national holidays. So what I did. So those people who were in the office, they got a little bit food as well. And so those guys who were online, they said, okay, so next time I should come to the office because, there is a food and there are some interesting things. It's not about the food, but I mean, if you're talking about the national holidays, then usually all nationalities have their own like national foods, what they are providing on that day. Just like I know Russians have this Shrove Tuesday Maslenitsa, and then you're giving the pancakes, but Estonians are giving like buns with the whipped cream, for example. So there are those differences. So, and then on that day when we were talking about some Estonian days, then we were bringing the food, what Estonians do eat on those days as well. So I mean, there are like small things, but.
Very nice tips.
Yeah. So I mean, if you start to push your people and tell that you must now come back, and now you have to work, I don't know, all the time from the office. I mean, it doesn't work. You have to start to do it like slowly, and you have to make that office environment very like comfortable and cozy. Right now, we have super beautiful Christmas decorations. Office feels and seems very, very nice, very cozy. I have to be honest that I'm staying sometimes here in the evenings as well because it's more cozier than at my home. I still haven't had the time to put up the Christmas tree and Christmas decorations. So, so I mean, it's a small thing, but
tip number 2.
Yeah, bring the Christmas tree and Christmas lights to the office.
Okay, so, okay. So we have another question from Natalia. She said that they communicate in Russian in company within the team and are just starting to hire English-speaking employees. At what moment is it necessary to make an internal transition in communication to English, from Russian to English?
I mean, if that person is coming.
So I think she talks about. Sorry. I think she talks about when do they need to transform their corporate communication from Russian to English, because there are a lot of English-speaking employees in their company, and they didn't understand Russian. I think something like that. Or maybe how to make this transfer easier, something like that.
Well, let's be honest right away, because if that English-speaking person is coming to the office and he sees that everything is Russian and he doesn't understand anything, he is feeling left out. So I can tell about my experience. So we are using, I mean, English is our work language. So all the chats are, all the emails, everything, all the documents are in English, but people are still speaking to each other in Russian, in Estonian, whatever language they want. And if we are having a meeting, and example, let's say, so everybody are speaking in Estonian, then it's fine. We use Estonian. But as soon as one person who is not understanding Estonian is joining us, we are switching into the English. The same is example when we are in kitchen and having a coffee. So I can speak in Russian with the guys, but when I see that my colleague is joining us and he doesn't speak Russian, so we are switching into the English. Why? Because we doesn't want anybody to feel left out.
Mm-hmm. And was it an often thing in your company? So it's a part of corporate culture. Do you always use English right now or not? Was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah, English has always been our work language. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes. So when people are coming to work, they have to know. Yeah. And the other companies where I have been working, I mean, the language, communication language was there Estonian, but as well there were Russian-speaking people, and it was absolutely fine when they were speaking Russian to each other. But yeah, as soon as other people joined, they had to switch to Estonian because I mean, otherwise some people do feel left out. And yeah, and all the documentation was there as well in Estonian, not in Russian or in English. So yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the main thing is that the person shouldn't feel that he's ignored or he's somehow discriminated.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, if I can go back there, so about that company. So if it's a Russian-speaking company, then and if they want to switch to English, then my question is, does all employees can speak fluently English? Because if they can't, then they should organize some language classes, maybe, or courses, or because otherwise those Russians were gonna feel left out, like because they don't understand the English. So that's the question.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we have the last question. There is in our chat one question which arises very often. What options for events we can offer to distributed offices? So what options for internal events do you use in your company? Which of these options have been the most successful? Where you were talking about a cocktail party, cooking classes, maybe something else.
Yeah, online games or those virtual games are really cool. So
it's a board games or something else?
No, it's like, you know, those computer games. There are actually companies who are organizing it. So basically you're just buying the product from them, and they are making teams as well, like online teams. And then you all are online, and then you have to like solve something or do something or like play that game together. And there are like so many different options, and they are super popular, and they are very cool. So this is like one option as well. Especially, I mean, if your teams are not in one country, they are in different countries, and maybe even if the time zone is a bit different, because if you're talking about the cooking class or the cocktail master class or those things, I mean, they are cool. But if your employees are in different countries, then maybe it's a little bit tricky to organize the food packages. I mean, the same food packages to all of the participants. But those online games and that kind of things are like, it's a good idea, and it works very well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Plus, I mean, if you're talking about the cooking, I mean, you're doing it all alone. It's actually not a team building, but those games, they are team building, because you most probably you are learning something about your team member as well, and I mean, you are communicating, and it's different. So yeah, it's a like team building / Christmas event at the same time.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you very much. So there is no more questions for us. I think we can, I can remove our presentation and we can say goodbye to everyone. Thank you very much, Iva, for attending our meetup. We was very glad to see you and speak with you. I hope it was very nice for you too.
Yes, it definitely was, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you too. Thank you guys who listen us. See you next time. Goodbye.
Yes, bye-bye.